told that being uni will be beneficial for us in our way to better our education and to better our future. We've been told that by going to university, however, is the key to success, and that it will guarantee to secure us a future job prospect of whatever we choose to have. It also has been told that while we are told to go to uni, to have this secure job, to have it stable, have a secure future based on our everyday choices or whatnot. But then we tend to question now, for many of us young people alike, that in this population is looking for a tertiary qualification, basically the right answer to actually, have that degree of success in life, regardless what it may be. Also, another few questions I'm going to ask you also is the question, is it worth it and right for choice for us to do so? So some of the qualification lands on the right job that we wanted in the first place, we wanted to do. Is the debt that we carry around financially a burden to us all? In the long run, does that investment we made of our choices that we make in our everyday lives is well worth it? Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel. I'm AspieAnswersAll. I'm about to create some Let's Talk series if you've been following me right now, and this one's basically the degrees of success. How far do we have to go in order to actually succeed in life? Basically, at this point of time, some of these series of this Let's Talk series I've been watching on the Nigel later, the hard stuff, and basically I thought to address some of these issues because some of it is basically close to my heart, of these everyday issues that we should actually come to face and actually solve, or not solve as such, but just hopefully find a way to make ends meet between us and create a balance and harmony for each one of us. Even though I know for a fact that everyone will have their own entitlement of opinions of what I'm going to share with these series, which I'm going to be opening a discussion board below in the comments for some questions at the end of this part to question you all from New Zealand and overseas, to hopefully gain a better understanding where we're going on this. If you don't know me, however, I'm AspieAnswersAll. I basically create mental health and awareness series. This is sharing my life stories with suspicious syndrome, OCD and the like, and also create some other videos also, be it health related and everything else in between, hopefully, that will come into play that is probably hopefully of value and use to all, regardless what it may be. I also did give out some tips and advice in regards to basically what I share in the way of our everyday personal struggles. It's just tips and advice in general of the mental health disorders or whatever particular topic that I feel that I want to address to you all. So enough for the day, guys. Hopefully we'll learn something today about this topic, as well as many others that's going to come out on this Let's Talk series. So hopefully so far that you guys have learned something along the way, or what have you, or may have just landed on my channel for whatever reason it may be. But let's begin this. As we know, when we come to our everyday lives, be it maybe close to our teens especially, that we know that basically that it's important to make the right choices in our lives. But sometimes with the right choices we want to make in our lives and what we want to do or what we want to become, however, does take its toll or cost, regardless what it may be. However, like as I've said to myself, and many others might know this, that basically we should know that we are the writers and authors of our story, and journey. I know for a fact that many of us may, regret some of the decisions we made, regardless what it is, and that hopefully we can, overcome those regrets and actually outweigh what we did wrong or what have you, but to try not to dwell on those wrong choices we made, regardless what it may be. So, as we know, basically, also what I'm sharing, if this is based in New Zealand, you see in New Zealand, some parents ask us to make better of our lives or try to do better for ourselves than they did in their life of learning or education, whatever it is in life that they're trying to reinstill in us. Some of the parents that we may, may instill values and morals in us, basically, regardless what it may be in our everyday lives. At the tender age of maybe in our late teens, be it 16, 17, 18, 19, maybe here in New Zealand, we are always made to make our own decisions, however, and into what we want to do. Yes, I know today we feel everyday pressures of what we want to be and want to become, regardless that sometimes we just feel that we are being rushed off our feet, that we should be doing everything at once. Some of us, when we're young, we might come to that point that we are actually, how to put it, forced to be grown up quicker than others, regardless of our personal situation, regardless of what we've been through, regardless of, our maybe personal family situation or whatever it may be, however it may be. Sometimes some of us young teens especially, I find that we are under the pump that we have to please our parents to the point that, they want us to gain a high degree or qualification or bachelor degree of some sort that they probably didn't do, that I wanted to do, whatever. I know the feel that is like for my parents, regardless of where I'm at the moment, which I'm going to share later on in this piece, is that no matter where I am, they're still happy to the sum of the stuff that I've actually achieved, even though my achievements are slower than others of certain things that I'm trying to do, regardless of what I'm trying to weigh out my pros and cons, what I'm doing right now, of everything that I'm doing, because obviously, everything has a pro and con to it. Some of the, teens, as I said, may feel the pressure to please their parents and fulfill their parents', dreams and wishes to do what they wanted to do and more. But the real question I need to ask is for us, or even for you guys to think about when I'm going to put these in the description for an open discussion for you all, basically, if you're following me, is, is the uni qualification really worth the actual, discretion? Or the another one is basically, if it wasn't beneficial, what can we do to actually improve it, or what have you? But these list of questions I'm going to give you out 2 or more will be in the description later, so bear with me. As we know, basically, as you should know, right, really, in the early 2000s, I was still studying at high school till about 2004. Just give you a little storyline right now. I decided not to continue my studies at high school, despite my own personal reasons, what I've maybe have shared to some people that may know close to their heart. Basically, I was trying to, figure out what I wanted to do, because in that part of time, I was still humping and hoeing, even though I know what I wanted to do, but then it was just how to get to that part where I wanted to, go for where I am. But at this point of time, where I am at the moment is not where I wanted to be, but I'm hoping later on it will come to pass. In the early 2000s, however, that was when NCR was introduced, and the question was for me at the time, as well as many others, am I happy on what I'm doing right at that time, and with the choices that was put into place that I made then to where I am now? That's a question I would like to throw at you guys as well. Questions I ask myself also, and want to ask for you lot again to involve you, is what would make you happy? The answers to the questions is, will be different between us, but all I know for a fact that everyone's life experiences and encounters of what they've been through in their life may determine the outcome of their choices of going to uni or not, or what have you. But as you know, basically, I didn't even go to uni. I've been studying at Polytech ever since 2005 or 6, basically. So straight from high school, I decided a year to actually, go about just doing a few courses here and there, just to give me a refresher of what I wanted to actually do, even though, as we know, Polytech is just a lower degree standard of a uni, because obviously Polytech is got only school kind of based subjects or what have you, or courses that runs around in it and what have you. The answers to the questions, as I said, will be varied based on our personal experiences and journey, and some of it could be, for some of the answers, 1, that they wanted a job in that particular area that they're passionate about. 2, becoming rich and famous, maybe. Number 3, another answer could be doing good deeds. Number 4, raising a family. Number 5, to better themselves for a better and bigger, brighter future. These questions and more I'm asking you is something important to ask yourselves about while you're journeying with me in this video right now, as this will set the path for our entire adult life, to our future and destiny of what we choose to become. I know it's hard to generalize about getting the right job for some of us. Some people with no work skills or life experience can make a difference. However, even though many people make that assumption that, many people are not at uni and they don't have those qualifications, basically they have that assumption that we're just dumb, stupid and everything else and we're not worth it. But at the end of the day, we can make a piece of the pie and actually do something about it ourselves if we wanted to. Yeah, as I say, it's up to us how we want to do it and how we think about doing it. As we know somehow today though, however, some young people may grow up so fast, as I said, by having a family at a young age. Like in my days in high school, I noticed that, some of the girls at my age group at that time, obviously it was a pact that they wanted to have young kids and whatnot. They wanted to be mums, and basically while they were young, they thought, that was the only thing they could do probably, or that was the only thing they wanted, basically, besides not want to better their future or whatever it may be, or what have you. I don't know the real reasons, but their personal reasons is their reasons only, and I'm not going to judge upon their decisions and choices that they make, because it's, they're part of it, their story. Sometimes when it comes down to it though, yes, as teenagers we do tend to grow up and make some silly wrong choices along the way, but after all, we're still human after all, aren't we? Yet there are some consequences and repercussions that we have to, take on board as well when it comes on board sooner or later from those mistakes or those choices we made. As teens, we're forced to make some decisions, based on our future early to equip and teach us life skills ahead. However, of time, along with some of us that may have some values and morals installed in us, and many people may think, it's not the right way to go, but that's how I roll at the moment. I feel that that's important as well. But in the New Zealand government, however, there is a belief system in there that, if there's more students going to uni to achieve a higher qualification, however, then the better the country will do economically. Well, how I look at it is basically at the moment, it feels at uni and stuff, it's, better economy for all of the people, but then again, you've got to realise that education is not for all. As I said in one of the videos, some of us do struggle to a point, basically, regardless of our special needs, or just struggle to a point that we're trying to, do our very darn hardest, financially ourselves. If we've, come from a low income earned family, that, we try to better ourselves in other ways than going to uni or whatever it may be, Here's some statistics, however, that is based in the New Zealand statistics to think about, though, to give you guys a better picture, scale of what goes down around New Zealand, so maybe you guys can share your statistics around the world too. 18 to 24-year-olds, however, about 20% of them are employed, 24% are working while studying, basically, or just working in general, but not, gaining that qualification, or over half of, say, 56% or more of these young people are doing some form of tertiary education, and this number keeps climbing, rising every year. But why are so many of these young people doing certificate, diploma or bachelor for that particular degree that they've chosen to do? Okay, degrees for some young people today are exceptionally important to them, for them to learn more about themselves, maybe self-discovery, even though, yes, okay, some of us might just not know what we want to do, and so we just self-discover by just, either going to uni, polytech, or what have you. Or sometimes, as I'll share briefly about the, when I was at school, there was like some life courses, be it, STAR courses and some gateway programs by students to bridge in the gap of the ones that are uncertain what they want to do as a job. And basically some of those STAR courses obviously weren't paid for, obviously some of it were guaranteed to, further our training, basically to lead us to a supposedly potential job that we wanted to do. Okay, young people can be in a safe environment, however, while studying, when, where they can learn, fail, and try new things, experiment new things, whatever it may be. After all, self-discovery is all about learning about ourselves, what we would love to do, regardless what it is, financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and works. How I look at it, however, some of the young people may say what they're done is beneficial to them in the long term run. Benefits of finishing completing your degree are from an intentional level that is basically at least 5 things, but I couldn't figure it all out properly, so bear with me. From what I can recall is, number 1, the salary increase. If you're a higher degree holder, be it bachelor of whatever, such and such, you're likely to have a higher salary earning. Number 2, peak income will come later. However, if you're having, only come out of, high school, and what you do will have an impact later on that income level of when you, go for work, what have you. Number 3, sometimes you'll have that lower unemployment rate. So basically, in this day and age where you have a higher amount of unemployment, for people, regardless, students or not, regardless. Number 4, you have better health outcomes, less stress, less worries, whatever. And number 5, you're engaged as a part of a member of society, you know what's going on. So basically, you might go to some social clubs in your, job description if it has it, or what have you. Back in the times when the people, who was in government, however, they had free education, when they went to school and had time to think about what they wanted to do in their lives, especially maybe in our parents' time they had that too. Today, however, we tend to just get caught up to, get more than 1 degree in our hands, as many that we can. However, not realising, regardless, it comes at a cost. Increased student loan debt. Sometimes for some students it will be that versus, with that loan debt, will they be able to pay for their first home? Will they be able to, start their own family, whatnot? Even though, regardless of it all, for many of us students will know that it's all about, sitting down, study, basically a lot of assessments, assignments to be done, handed in, as well as tests, constantly studying, cramming in that time. Some of the students may be at the time working full-time, part-time as well to, earn their keep, regardless what it may be. Some could be low-paid jobs, some middle-earning jobs, regardless what it may be. Sometimes some students may have unpaid apprenticeships or some sort of, internships or whatever it may be, sort of thing. So therefore they'll have to think. The stresses and debts on top of all this as well, obviously there are no room for errors, failures today in our society. For us young children, we have to be on top, we have to be successful, we have to be popular, we have to be, the next best thing, regardless what it may be. That's how some people look at it, but I've noticed that in some schools it's all snobbery about you have to have a high-earned job, you have to have a high-earned education, regardless what it may be. Today though, when it comes to going to university, it's all about what you want to become and where your passion lies. Now, for some of the young people, it's all about the financial decision, which is the loans and scholarships that has been introduced to us in New Zealand. In 1989, obviously tuition fees were introduced. Unless you get a full scholarship or work while studying, you will definitely get into debt, obviously, which is basically the thing. The only question is to ask ourselves is how much debt do we get into? And also another part of it also, way back in, I think it was the early 2000s or so, or mid 2000, I can't remember which as such, but someone can correct me on this if they're from New Zealand. There was a scheme of that lower interest rate, or the no interest rate scheme that the government introduced, basically, so that when we had a debt, that basically there was no interest added onto our debt, regardless what it may be. Okay, to be honest with you, 4 out of 5 students, territory students, will have a student debt, and many of those ones are the ones who collectively are, New Zealand, $15 billion, obviously, for those type students that are actually creating the debt or whatever it may be. You've got to question all these questions. Is that how we want young people to start out in life? However, some may not be able to start having a family if they wanted to, and so on. Like I said, of whatever reason it may be, even if they do feel that, tertiary education is the only choice, but when more to the fact is that we have more choices. Anyway, average student debt is now 24,000 New Zealand dollars, and 2/3 of students have, said that it will affect their ability to buy a house. 1/3 of the students says that it will affect their decision on having kids in the near future. Making students' loans interest-free has dramatically decreased the burden on the students. However, as I said, on average, students are built on 1/3 of the cost of their degree. However, government wanted young people to be educated and to be better citizens and have more benefits. And overseas government best interest settle cost of regardless what it may be. However, medical degrees, however, are best suited economically as you can earn more in this field as well. An average of $50,000 plus a year you earn. Even though you got to look into account for certain degrees that you look into, the location versus maybe how much you're earning versus, the level of degree that you have, I guess, in some retrospect as well. Degrees aren't always created, equal, however, which is a sad fact, but reality. Obviously, we're living in a democratic country right now. As for example, just to give you a clearer idea what I'm saying, someone who's done a degree in performing arts doesn't earn as much as someone who hasn't got a degree at all. Okay, decisions we make is up to us. However, as I said so many times before, tertiary education will try to meet the students' demand and respective to how much jobs are out there. However, as we know that sometimes it can be a competitive world out there that it feels that we have to have the high earnings versus high degree versus whatever it may be. But then it's the flip side of it sometimes with some people that doesn't have a degree and that may have the life experience and everything, but then again, it's up to the employers how they want to take it on board with us students, regardless what it may be. There are today in some areas though, to the degree we choose we want to do may not lead us straight into that guaranteed job that we wanted or love to do or whatever, be it a nurse or a doctor or what have you. Some students may end up having to go overseas to actually further, give their skills up to other people overseas, which is a sad fact, but it's a reality. It's happening more and more every year. The New Zealand government introduces an education training where it has at least 60 job prospects. So salary you'll get if there's a shortage in that area of that field, along with what you need from over there. Obviously, they create a software or shall we say a site on that. But then again, there are some other angles that they're bound to be more graduates in law, health, technology than the jobs that are area of that work, regardless what it may be. Most students may plan out their lives in order to gain a better life for themselves in their future, be it like they want a better degree, have a degree, and hopefully with that degree will lead them to that desired job that they chose on that degree. With that in mind, they can, while working, put money aside for their future, being the first home, whatever, but it doesn't always work, does it? Obviously. Most like said that. Okay, the question is, you might be asking, where am I at the moment? Well, as you know, basically, I'm basically looking for work regardless of my area of forte of my, career choice or education, level of education. Some of it, obviously, hasn't been a good one, obviously, in the way of thing, but persistence is the key. I've noticed also based on it, and also just hopefully just with that persistence of me, applying for those jobs in that area of work, even though there should be in most of the areas, even though I don't wish to do the area well, study for administration work that hopefully, it will lead to further something else. Do I want to study to gain more skills and experiences and knowledge and know-how of the job that I wanted to do or what have you? Yes and no in some retrospects. Because at this point of time, as you guys are aware, I'm basically coming of age, obviously, and I'm trying to push myself to actually, look for a job regardless what it may be, just to better myself regardless. And that sometimes it's hard, obviously, at this point of time, because for me, despite the age factor and maybe some other factors as well that I'm trying not to enclose, because many people may think I'm just probably cuckoo or crazy thinking it, but I feel sometimes like I'm not given a chance due to, my level of maybe expertise or what have you, or what other bits and pieces of it what I share, but I should have put that in the back burner of what I feel right now and just keep pushing forward regardless, hopefully. What else is there? What did I want to do? Obviously, as you guys know, I wanted to actually help people, be a mental advocate for people like me. Is it possible to get where I want to be? Yeah, maybe it is to a point if I don't want to get too much loan debt and all that, but then again, like many famous people that we know of started from below to get where they are today, however. Any regrets? Most likely there has been along the way, regardless of my career choices. Maybe part of me felt I could have probably seen to doing more STAR courses or some sort of course to bridge that where I wanted it to be right now. What I have learned so far, basically, in the way of education, how it is, yes, sometimes to a degree you're going to have a higher degree to actually gain a better paid job and whatever else, but then again, sometimes you've got to question yourself, do you want to be like the same people out there, just doing that same grind while you're not happy? Because what I've learned so far also is, despite sort of that maybe you find something that you love to do and actually go with it. Also, if you have that skill set there, of regardless what it may be, maybe you can actually, bring it on the table to some employers and hopefully they'll take it on board, but it's not always the case, but it's up to them. Obviously, there's no right way or path to go once you finish your degree, however, or whatever you end up doing, because obviously, as again, what you do with your life determines the future outcome for yourself, however. Okay, life is a journey. It'll take us for a ride of a lot of everyday things, be it, roller coaster of ride of highs and lows and whatever else. It tests us in all areas, based on our patience versus everything else. Education to me means self-improvement, self-discovery, learning who I am, about what makes me tick, what makes me me, and hopefully that no matter what, that at the long haul, that be able to know about it. Okay, lower employed degrees of students, it will affect getting a higher expectation from employers and the like. There has been a lot of stereotyping about people that are coming from a low income family or just lower degree of their education levels, regardless. They think that people that are less smart, basically, are regardless supposed to be at uni or some sort of trade school or something. But then again, there's been a lot of snobbery in some schools and some of the misconceptions of what actually education is really about and what they can actually offer us on the table. There has been some schools in New Zealand, however, that has given the STAR courses and gateway programs, and the question is, are they good for us, basically? For me, when I did few STAR courses, gateway courses or what have you, to bridge the gap to know what I wanted to do before I decided to leave at 16, dropping out or whatever my reason was for my personal reason, for me, I feel it was good because it gives us a life experience, without getting paid, but experience for CV, and also just basically at that point as an eye-opener for us to know what we choose, regardless of that, no pay factor, hopefully within bridging that gap, it will lead us to proper employment. Okay. However, some apprenticeships and internships that can be an option for some of us. Not all of us. As I said, education is not for all, but apprenticeships are coming back. Like in the 1980s, however, 25,000 apprentices a year were, employed or doing large reform in the 90s, basically, of the 16,000 of these apprentices, and there's about now 41,000 and growing more of these apprentices as doing apprenticeships. Some apprenticeships may offer specialised courses, and that's basically with these specialised courses, that they do on the in-house training, basically, of it in their workshop or whatever it is that, apprenticeship it is, that, some of the parts that uni teaches you ain't actually, real. Some of the courses are just generic, and whatnot. Apprenticeships, however, can lead to real jobs. Many people make the mistake it doesn't. Apprenticeships also, in that form of retrospect, can be a good thing to create a bridge to see what it can offer to young people for the real world. Because it's similar to the STAR courses and everything that I shared. Obviously, to me, it needs to be more considered often for young people as a choice factor or an option. There's a big disconnection in schools and training organisations, however, along with the employers, basically, based on these apprenticeships and everything else, or what have you, that, some schools doesn't give you the actually heads up of what's actually really is offered out there in the real world, be it, apprenticeships versus, internships and whatever else, if we do choose what we want to choose, in-house training facility, has specialised technology, however, but it doesn't, give you a depth that some of these, in-house training facilities of, apprenticeships, however, also for another pro is that some of the courses are already paid for us, even though, like, in the South Island, some in New Zealand, be it Dunedin, Otago and all that area, there has been a zero fee scheme for some students that want to, get on board and actually learn something on that. There's some students coming out of high school that want to get an apprenticeship, but they have no idea of where they're heading, and they have that massive lack of support from, employers or what have you, due to, people's, again, assumptions on what students are like when they, come from a level that is not high enough, maybe, regardless what it may be. We need to take out those assumptions and stereotyping right now and actually do something about it. We always, however, have that assumption that uni is better, than not going at all. But is this really true? Could the world experiences that we go through trump into getting a degree? When getting employment, the employers most likely will look at us, and compare the students with a degree or not, based on the experiences and based on the skill sets that has been, set out for us, even though I feel that sometimes, like for me, our everyday life experiences that we go through is important, and that it should be based on that as well as not just the degree, however. But I guess that, everyone's different. Sometimes it can be a flip side of the coin there about based on, people with a higher degree may likely to land that job, whatever it may be. Some employers may look at a 5A system, which are basically one, attitude, how we think and how we act towards, people and just towards the job that we've got. Number 2 is the aptitude, how fast we know and learn about the systems or what have you that is put in place. Number 3, ambitions, the desire on what we want to do, basically. Number 4, aspiration, wanting us to do better, or ourselves wanting to do better. And number 5, attendant. Number 5, for some, most places at work will actually look at it really highly as a high regarded thing to know if we are reliable and actually on time and everything else, because obviously attendance is the key sort of thing. I find this 5A system can be really good, basically, and this is obviously for this 5A system as a personal attributes and qualities, yet not a degree. Obviously some of this can come into play. A lot of countries overseas are looking more into these attributes than the degree. However, also some employers may want to see what we're made of, seeing to what someone with a degree that can do maybe, and show us what we not know about ourselves. What I want to do when I grow up, obviously, was basically, as I said, helping people, and it hasn't changed. And obviously, at this point of time, regardless of my age and everything, I'm just hoping that I don't have to return back to today or whatever. But if it has to, it might have to. I don't know. I'm just trying to find something to bridge the gap of what I need to do. 1 of 5 young people in New Zealand are unemployed. $300 million are given to the ones that are unemployed, however, that are actually, on benefits and whatever else that is introduced here in New Zealand. There are some people with no qualification in education, and there are some things that will not work for others as it does for, the ones that are uni or whatever. Yet there are some facilities or organisations that are not government funded that are trying to help people that are on the maybe certain benefits to actually, better themselves for whatever it may be. People that are on the low part of the, income, what have you, more and more jobs are disappearing every day, sadly. However, regardless, as we know and see that it's the way technology is right now that is playing that huge part in society, however, as well, that is taking away certain roles that normally are with people who are semi-skilled or in that tertiary level that could probably be able to go and do and actually show the world that can do it. Entry-level employment jobs are now increasing. For many years it has done. And then will become a challenge for someone, as well as a competition for someone that's, maybe just come out of high school. They'll think, awesome, or what have you. They'll compete with other people. So there's a lot of people competing for certain same jobs, regardless what it may be. Maybe you need to create a platform where students has been out of school for a few number of years to achieve more and start learning and develop again. Some people will end up going to uni when it's not good for them, however, based on those choices, regardless that they think, okay, uni's the best, end of result for them. Anyway, conclusion, having better options for young people today as having a degree isn't the only way to be, successful. However, there's many right choices, and actually with these right choices we need to get informed and actually know what's going on and actually pick a career path that we feel excited about and actually, want to be interested in and actually strive for, regardless what it may be. Also, never mind what other people may say, think or do. There's, like I said, no right or wrong answers, or there are right choices out there as well as wrong choices. What we do is up to us, how we determine our future and outcome for us, because obviously at the end of the day, what matters to us should be our own choices and our own opinions about ourselves, regardless. The opinions don't matter. We are who we are. We are who we are. No one else can do what we can do. Okay. Before I end this, as I said, there are a few questions to ask to open this discussion board. Basically, number one, what did uni taught you? Number two, did you go to uni? If not, what did you end up doing? Number three, was it a choice factor? Number four, was it something to do in the way you like? Number five, the qualifications you gained, was it worth it? Why not? Number six, what did uni actually bring out for you? Was it a life experience tool, or what have you? Number seven is basically the apprenticeships, gateway programs, that were introduced in high schools, if there was any, in New Zealand or overseas, because this is going to be for overseas people. So was it a good idea or not? Why not, basically, and so on. And obviously just maybe give me a little life story about basically, how you came about uni and stuff and whatnot. So, and also, guys, this is ending on the one of the degrees of success. How far do we have to go in the way of education or life in general as well? Leave me a like, thumbs up for support. Comment below for those questions that I just quickly asked you guys. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AspieAnswersAll. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. Feel free to share these videos around to family and friends. Do what you love what you do. Thanks for your support, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.